Now we come to the second age, the Age of Pain. Starting with the Ghost Planet in 156 M35. The far-flung hive world of Auxilion stubbornly maintains radio silence after its unsanctioned decision to hire Eldar mercenaries. Though after one diplomatic gaffe too many, the alliance turns sour. Led by the homunculus Cresthekia, a carnival of pain descends upon the planet. 5 years later, a large-scale Imperial delegation is sent to investigate the lack of forthcoming typhs. When they make planetfall, they find no trace of human life signs whatsoever. The entire planet, every hive, haplock, and spire is completely deserted. The battle for the Thaxar Rift in 745 M35. The Severed begin to plunder the region of space known as the Thaxar Rift. They find their effort hindered by chaos-worshipping renegades who have a substantial presence in the region. Rather than face the renegades directly, Arconariensis ensures that his foes come to the attention of the Imperial Navy and Adeptus Astartes, and a grinding war ensues. The Severed haunt the edges of this conflict, tales of murderous ghosts and xenos pirates spreading like wildfire in their wake, while they test and study the Imperium's way of war. Eventually, the Imperium's forces are reduced to a shadow of their former might. They are forced to resort to selective exterminatus to annihilate what remains of their traitor foes. While the doomed worlds still smolder, the Severed descend in full force. They annihilate the surviving Imperial Navy warships left behind to watch over Thaxari space before proceeding to plunder and pillage at will. Vekt's Gift in 677 M36. Asdrubal Vekt tricks his would-be rival Archon Kellythresh into opening a casket that has ostensibly been presented as a tithe. Held precariously in the collapsing field of the casket is the unstable essence of a black hole. Kellythresh's entire realm is plunged into a howling, yawning vortex. The Black Conquest of Yalindra in 724 M36. Yalindra of the Blackened Tear uses her preeminent grasp of the arts of Shaimesh to poison an entire Imperial hive world. Even as the populace of Tybor III are withering into desiccated husks, Yalindra is granted a boon by Asdrubal Vekt. She chooses to take a spire of her own in High Komorah, founding the witch cult of Lahmaya and training an army of deadly courtesan warriors to further her deadly works. The Plague of Glass in 926 M36. The noted Komorite artisan Jalaxlar is feted for his incredibly lifelike black glass statues of Dark Eldar. His rivals soon discover that he is using an isolated viral helix to create his masterpieces from living victims. In the fight to control this deadly virus, it is accidentally released, running rampant through several districts of the Dark City. This plague of glass is eventually contained and weaponized by the Hex, whose homunculi are intrigued by its artistic possibilities. The Slow Death of Gregus in 345 M37. The Cabal of the Poisoned Tongue comes into conflict with a fleet of orc freebooters stationed out of Gregus. Lady Aurelia Marlis is incensed that mere barbarian pirates should deny her will. Personally capturing a muscle-bound orc knob, Marlis instructs her Lahmaean poisoners to prepare a surprise for the greenskins upon Gregus. Lady Marlis's cabal makes planetfall weeks later, fighting their way into the center of the orc capital city and impaling their barely living captive upon a half-built gargant before melting away into the night. The corpse begins to shed millions of spores into the air, each of which bears a cargo of terrible wasting toxins. As the infected spores corrupt the orcoid reproduction cycle, the population of Gregus grows weaker and weaker. When Marlis returns, it is a simple matter to slaughter the survivors. The First War in the Webway in 579 M37. A coven of 1,000 sun sorcerers from the kindled Spirits Thrall Band conducts a great ritual in the Webway, hoping to gain access to the scream-filled city of Komorrah, the home of the Drukhari. Before their ritual is complete, hundreds of Drukhari led by troops of Harlequins pour from an invisible portal and launch themselves at the Rubricae, defending the coven. With their spells sundered, the kindled spirits counterattack, their blasts of warp flame eventually breaching the fabric of the webway itself. As the arterial walls of the webway buckle and collapse outwards, the backlash strands the combatants in a shattered pocket reality with no way out. There are whispers that the fighting has continued ever since, and that each warrior is fated to die and be reborn in an endless cycle for the rest of time. The Tower of Flesh in 796 M37. The homunculi stronghold known as the Tower of Flesh is created, a living, breathing fortress made of the bodies of those who defy the homunculi coven of the 13 Scars. The renegade space marine Fabius Bile is tutored in the dark arts within its blood-slicked halls. Bile is accompanied to the Dark City by Lucius the Eternal, who is declared by his hosts, the witch cult of the Wrath Unbound, to be endlessly entertaining, both on and off the arena floor. The Blade of Vect in 984 M37. The subrealm of Shah Dom grows steadily in influence and power until Archon Eluriak, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Shah Dom, declares himself more worthy of rule than Asdrubal Vect. Vect publicly vows that all of Shah Dom will feel the edge of his blade, much to the amusement of Eluriak's famously well-funded and elite forces. 3 solar days later, a warp rift opens suddenly above the satellite realms, and a burning Imperial Navy battleship thunders downward, plunging deep into the hidden city's heart before its warp drive detonates. The palace fortress of Eluriak is torn apart. The warp rift allows demons to invade the city, and in a matter of a single solar week, the devil-haunted realm of Shah Dom is reduced to cinders. Vect is reported to have allowed himself a rare smile at the moment of its fall. The Last Act of Lord Korsht in 182 M38. Inquisitor Lord Korsht of the Ordo Xenos second guesses the Dark Eldar raid upon the Imperial industrial world of Demoine. The moment the Cabal of Immortality denied blink into existence above Demoine's capital, they are all but annihilated in a thunderous firestorm. Korst's absence is keenly felt at the post-action debrief, however, and the Inquisitor Lord's underground fortress complex is investigated. His remains are found, spread thinly upon every page of every occult tome in his library.